This is the Heart to Heart with Statton podcast. Welcome back, everybody, to another Heart to Heart with Statton podcast. I'm your host, Statton, and we have our good friend Tinfoil here. Now, Tinfoil won't be able to talk much. He will throw in his commentary every now and then, but the thing is it's 2 a.m. where he's at. He doesn't want to disturb his friends and family that are asleep right now, understandably so. But he brought something to my attention that I think we do need to talk about. It seems to be something that I'm actually kind of surprised we're divided on, and it has to do with Discord and Face ID. Before we begin the actual chat on, or before I mean by that I mean I have a video to play for all of you, but before I play it, Tinfoil, do you have anything you would like to say regards to it first before we begin?
Would like to just ask everybody to keep an open mind and do not fall for easy explanations of such issues where they're being trivialized or swayed away with certain, let's say, emotional blackmails, like it's for the kids. Because in a lot of cases like that, pushing for legislation or pushing for solutions, usually this is used to, how to call it nicely, to sneak in other things that are used usually against by the majority of the public.
Understood. Oh, and before I play the video, I would like to mention to all of you that I finally started my accounts on Rumble. Can't believe I said Mumble. Anyways, one thing I love about Rumble is it's a very conservative platform, and you can get away with more on it than you could say YouTube or TikTok or whatnot. Because for some reason, but TikTok's the worst at it, but both it and YouTube tend to lean more toward the left, and for that reason, if you say anything too conservative or too honest, then they will flag you. They will try to make it so your videos are restricted, and it started happening to me actually. So I'm actually taking all the videos that I've posted in the exact order here and taking copies of them and posting them in the same order on Rumble. And if I can get at least 5 followers, because bear in mind, I just created Rumble about a week ago, and not a lot of people know about Rumble, let alone know that I'm on it. But if I can get at least 5 followers, I can start streaming and doing the podcast on Rumble as well. But until I get at least 5, I won't be able to do that. So if you like my content and you are a fan of what I do, please follow me on Rumble. It would really help me out, and please watch my videos on Rumble too. That would mean so much to me. Now, with that said, let us get into it. I'll drink. Very nice ad on there. Game.
Is there still time to save not only our country, but others all around the world from this digital infrastructure that they're building?
Frankly, at this point, no, we've gone over the cliff. I mean, even Discord, right? When you're just backing up for a second, even Discord, while they're not supposedly collecting the biometric face data.
Actually, hold on a second. I don't mean to interrupt. There is something I do get. Yeah, it looks like I where everybody.
They've got your voice data. They've got video Frankly, at this point, no, we've gone over the cliff. I mean, even Discord, right? When you're just backing up for a second, even Discord, while they're not supposedly collecting the biometric face data, they've got your voice data. They've got video data if you use the video call system. They've got your behavioral pattern data. They've got any sort of devices that you're using to connect into the server data. And then you stretch that back out to what you're talking about with DHS. I believe that those iPads that you stand in front of when you're standing in front of TSA was really sort of a soft introduction for the public to get comfortable with the idea of this. But make no bones about it. They've been collecting our data for years now. Anytime you're walking on a street in any city, driving in your car on any highway, walking through any shopping mall, I mean, everywhere you go, between the 5G networks and the video cameras everywhere, Brianna, they have your data. They've been storing it for a long time. And when you layer in Palantir and the massive, data centers that they're using in these, so we say, fusion centers of data around the world and in our country, that data is already there. They're just now telling you that you're going to be signing up for this, and that, oh, don't worry, we're not storing it. But just like with the Patriot Act, oh, don't worry, we're not monitoring you. What did Bill Benny teach us? They were listening to everything and they've been collecting everything. It was never targeted, just looking for the bad guys. This is literally the slippery slope into a complete track and trace world where the Minority Report, frankly, is going to be what we will be living in. Hollywood has been telling us this for a long time.
Okay, now I'm just gonna stop for a minute and ask Tinfoil, if this is the case, then hasn't the line already been crossed even before Discord started to implement this month?
Yes, but look, I'm not a legal person per se, so I cannot say where the line has been crossed. But yes, a lot of applications, a lot of our daily usages, devices we've been using for every day have been collected on an unprecedented amount of data without actually telling us. For example, uh, a lot of you already know this, and it's not nothing new. But for example, have you ever had the um, uh, impression that your phone was listening to you? And for example, you mentioned something in front of your phone. Next thing you find out, you open your browser, and for example, you were talking about ice cream, and you have a commercial for Hagen.
Yep.
I think your devices are listening. I mean, depending whether you're looking from your phone, your laptop at the moment, most of your devices have built-in microphones, cameras. For some reason, and I'm pretty sure some of you can actually already connect the dots. Some models of phones now have camera hidden behind the screen, not necessarily that dot you have on top of your iPhone or whatever the make you use now, because it's not possible to glue it, sort of to block it with any kind of finger or tape if you don't want it to be filmed. And there's a lot of subsections, subprograms in those devices that just activate that without you knowing it, that you're being filmed or recorded.
It kind of
With
makes me think of, I don't know if have you ever seen the
I'm pretty sure, yes.
scene where it has all the people that are hearing over, they're like spying on all the phone calls, and it's just pointless banter. They're all listening to a bunch of nothing. Get my meaning. But then there's that one guy that says, "Hey, we finally caught someone we were actually looking for."
Well, remember, a lot of it is people have, well, justifiable fears that the data that is collected is going to be used against them to profile them when they're inconvenient for somebody, or a certain company doesn't like you and they close down your services or use that data against you.
I
It
guess
can also refer to government. I mean, remember, there was not so long ago, if I recall properly, I could be wrong if anybody of your viewership can correct me if I'm wrong about this. There is an issue that basically a lot of operating systems, including your Windows 11, they've been visited by the American government to have a backdoor into your system when you're having a Windows 11, which, well, which would, well, with all the stuff that is coming out with Copilot for a lot of you, us unfortunates, that is be possibly considered as the least of the intrusive things that happen to that system in your computer lately. Uh, yes, okay, it can be, it would be used against you should that arise. Indeed, I remind you, remember that I sent you that link about that doorbell camera?
I guess the other issue I'm having with it, the fact that not everybody like Discord are adults. In fact, it's supposed to be a thing. Kids also it was Discord may not be solely for gamers anymore, but there was a time when it was. If of now, granted, it's being used for other things. I'm not going to help because I do a lot of great. It's
Yes,
just
but there's a problem with this Statton. Usually, remember, gamers as a demographic encompasses everybody, every age, as long as you can actually use it, right? And if it goes, it is if you're going to, or you're referring to the, but the children, right?
that's where
Thing is,
my
remember,
problem is. I don't think children should. That's where I think it's inappropriate.
yes, they shouldn't. And also remember, the excuses for the children. A lot of people don't understand that this is actually pushing the bug down the road. If you're a parent, you're the one supposed to be in charge of what media your child is consuming and what kind of platforms it's using. Yeah, sure, you can have Discord when you're 18 at my home. That is the right of the parent. If you're supposed to bring up your kid, you're supposed to be getting out of the way of dangers it doesn't have to be involved in, right? Some people say, but but that's like trampling on the kid's rights. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. The rights of a kid say nothing against selecting their platforms, if I recall properly, for their legal guardians, as in parents. That's one, and that means it's the parents' job, not the company's. Second, not everybody thought about this. I'm think at least a lot of majority has. Look, it's this entire solution doesn't help anybody, at least to my understanding of it, because okay, let's say you're not, if you don't submit your data, right, your legal by perspective of the company, you are um a team for all intents and purposes, right? Thing is, and they're evaluating those people who have not registered with the age inference thing, that they're going to use that AI to analyze your speech patterns, your interests, your login history times, and such like that. They're basically profiling you. And remember, by every definition, every language learning, make me well, those LLMs for those AIs, they do not understand human intention, which already kind of wrenched the entire identification of things, which means by default, everybody's going to be a teen, even when that thing analyzes you. I'm pretty sure they're going to do whatever they want with that data, reading over your shoulder. Remember, if, let's say, let's call them PDF files, as popular, want to sneak around the platform for their victims, they don't have to do anything at this point. They don't have to register, and they've been warned a month in advance to up their game, so they can just prowl around that platform. They've effectively helped out those predators while sticking out hand for your data. You you, Mr. John Doe, you're suspicious. Give us your data. But no, 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 that guy in the corner, nah, he's surely a kid. Just leave him alone.
Well, before we continue on, let's go ahead and finish the remainder of this video because you did touch on something else, and before I forget, I would first let's wrap this up.
Brianna. So when I look at this from the biblical lens, God placed us on this planet in different countries and different places. We have different languages, different cultures. We look different, but we're all created in his image. And people were nomadic. They were allowed to travel. And when there were bad people, the good people handled situations. We've gotten so far from it. We've now become so reliant on technology that we're having to exchange our God-given rights for the privilege of having access to going from one state to another or one country to another. And I don't believe, frankly, as far as humanity goes, that is what was intended. Humanity has always been able to take care of the bad guys. And now we're turning this completely over to a group of bad guys that we now know are nothing but complicit in facilitating child trafficking around the world and covering for pedophiles. So I just don't see the fair exchange in our civil rights at this point anymore.
Sounds to me like she just said what you just got done saying right there, tinfoil. Are you there?
Yes.
Okay, there was complete silence. I thought I lost.
Oh no, I just have to click the button to unmute myself so I don't interrupt the recording and listen to you the recording as well.
Well, the thing is, but this has been happening for quite a while now. Is there actually a way to put a stop to it? I mean, the whole point of us bringing this out in the open is so people know about it. But once that step is done, we all know about it. What then? What is the next step that we...
Well, remember, you can try to get back some of the data as much as possible, and those platforms, being honest about it, are willing to delete your data file and delete your account on Discord. I'm not sure is that possible at this point, but well, you can use alternatives that actually value your privacy. People are, as we speak, searching for those. There are a couple of those as such for Discord alone. You can try to limit your digital footprint. I mean, for example, Steam has stepped around the same issue by, for gamers, of course, if I'm mistaken. Basically, they said that if you have a bound account, credit card to your account, that also proves your age because only adults can have credit cards. As such, so you don't need to send your biometrics, you don't need to send your ID, you don't need to send your photo. There are platforms that are doing this. They're few and far between, but then again, assuming you're not needing a very big digital network, that you're not like a movie reviewer or a programmer that you need like a bunch of other software. People don't need that many services to actually register their data. So yeah. So you gotta pick the alternatives that are the most convenient and give you all the necessary things that, for example, encrypted channels not storing their data, and then use those instead. And until this entire legislation either backtracks or there's going to be a find a way around it. But we're in the thick of it now, and this issue, for better, worse, or long or short, this is not going anyway anytime soon.
The thing is, the thing I wanted to get back to that you brought up is you brought up how parents need to step up. They need to monitor. It shouldn't be the government's job. It should be the platform, the baby. It's the parents' job. Now, this may seem, this may seem
Blunt.
like it's not connected, but I think another issue why platforms feel the need to step up, people become so happy. It's like, take YouTube. Uh, they they were getting a lot of complaints and potential lawsuits from parents because a lot of inappropriate stuff was being put on YouTube. But then, what did YouTube do? It made a separate app called YouTube Kids. I believe that was. But then, about few to several months after that, uh, another parent decided to sue because they caught their kid watching something that they shouldn't have been on YouTube, and because of that, despite the fact that it already has YouTube Kids on it, it did something that's both redundant and made the pointless, and it made it so when you upload a video, you actually have to choose if it's for kids or if it isn't for kids. And if you choose it is for kids, it ends up not being for kids, you'll be fined like a few $1,000s or something like that. And but also if it is for kids and you select for kids, it does something to your videos. One, it makes it so your videos cannot be monetized. Two, it makes it so the comment section is locked out so no one can comment. But if you say it's not for kids, guess what? It gives YouTube the impression that your videos are inappropriate. And that really sucks for someone like me because Statton is not my only YouTube channel. I have, and as I've said before, so this shouldn't come as a surprise to any of the viewers that see this, but I am a pastor and I have a church YouTube channel, and in order to make it so there can be comments put under my videos and everything, I have to select that it's not for kids, thereby making it sound like my church videos are inappropriate. It doesn't have a middle ground. So either way, as far as YouTube goes, life just got harder, or actually got harder several years ago. But the point is if you're gonna have the made for kids or not made for kids, there's no point in having the YouTube Kids app. Then you just took something and made it completely pointless. But they have to do it because they don't want to get sued. So,
Not to mention they're a company.
Hmm?
Sorry to interrupt that, but yeah, there are companies, so they have to do certain of these things legally. But also, I would like to point out two things, if I may.
yes.
One, I'm guessing since the excuses for the children to protect our kids and all of that, which was the thing that they used to push this is, and of course, I mean, you got nothing to be afraid of if you got nothing to hide, right? One, you're really gonna trust a bunch of companies like Discord or let's say Activision, which basically, as of late and all of this we've been talking, they've been connected. Even the former CEO of Activision, Bobby Kotick, been linked to a certain Jeffrey from an island, if you know what I mean. You're gonna really put your faith in those companies. They're saying that you can trust us with your data. Really?
Well, what I was also getting at is the fact that, well, you brought up another point. Talk about protecting children's identity. And, when the internet first came out, they actually had a sure way of doing that already. I mean, it wasn't 100% foolproof, but I think it's a lot better than the today. And that was the whole that was actually why we have when chat rooms were you didn't use your name, you used a fake name, you used an online name. No one was supposed to know anything about your real life self. That identity, that online identity was your protection right there. But people have grown
Yes.
so used to sharing too many personal details out there, using their real name and everything, that they've forgotten That was actually the main purpose, and because like for example, uh, one of the games I play, Phasmophobia, it can be a solo game, it can be an online game. I've stepped into a random server with people I've never gamed with, and they would take a look at my name and they're like, "What's your real name?" Like, well, if I was gonna tell you what my real name was, I would have typed my real name instead of typing Statton. I don't see why that's so hard for people to understand. The whole point of an online name is to hide your real identity. And so even when you game online, you create a character, you give that character a fake name. You don't slap it with your name.
True, but then again, some names are, well, the excuse and counterpoint is, and I've been asking, I've been guilty of this myself, that I've been asking for the actual name is, let's just say that I've been in a lobby in a game where I asked a guy, what is his actual, well, first name or anything else I can call him by, because his actual name in character was Judas, and every time I actually said it, well, I was giggling like a madman. But what I mean is, uh, you said why people forgotten all of this, why people forgotten the common sense, uh, the consciousness of all of this, right? The nanny state. I mean, government's going to do all right. Trust us. You don't have to worry about things. Just push a little further every legislation. They were eroding all of this. They started thinking for you, not you, but you know what I mean. Also, ladies and gentlemen, and I do mean this quite seriously, what I'm about to say is, as for the Discord thing, because that's what we began all of this with, right? Uh, they say they do not save this data. They say trust us. It's not. It's going to be on not on our servers. Then why do you need it? If something is going to evaluate your facial features, structures, your ID, or whatever it is that you decide to would decide to input for that test, which I strongly suggest you don't, uh, needs to analyze it. And once something's analyzed, it is in this system, and the fact that it's not going to store that data is bullshit. Sorry for the language. There's no way of saying it. Second, that's too much of an opportunity to pass up for the company and whoever is actually told them to gather that data. That's two. Second, need I remind you that last year, Discord, as the platform that we were talking about, had a gigantic leak where 70,000 people had their data exposed, their pictures, their messages, their every inch and nook and cranny of their lives on that platform. And this isn't the first time, and you're really going to want to trust that platform with your data.
But that was
Digital,
my
digital,
point. Oh, sorry.
digital, identity theft or digital identity theft is a real thing, ladies and gentlemen. It's a state of permanency. Once that data is stolen, and even if they prove that guy is not you, he used your data, they lock him down, they take away his shit, his files, doesn't matter. Because the copies of that data that leaked are circling the web, and anybody can use that for their own nefarious goals. Do not get tricked, people.
But that was the point I was trying to get to. The way to protect our identity was to use fake names and everything. Now, these people, in the name of security and protection, are show us your face, show us what you really look like. It's like that's the opposite of protection. That's the opposite of security. When you go online, you're supposed to be hidden. You think? I mean, for all you viewers out there, look at me. Look at me right now. You think this is what I look like in real life? This is a video game. You think my real life name is Statton? It isn't. I use this to mostly protect my identity. with the exception of those who I do truly trust. And no, I don't trust Discord. I have Discord, but that doesn't mean I trust them enough to be like, hey, this is what I really look like. This is my real name. Here's my real identity. You want my driver's license number? You want my license plate number? Here, have that. Here's my social security number. No.
I was about to make a joke that if this is how you look like on your avatar, you ever get near me or you're getting pepper sprayed.
I get near you, I'm getting...
Back off.
Anyways, but the point is, my character is a prime example. My name isn't Statton in real life. This isn't what I look like in real life. I created the character to look like something I'm not. I gave him a name that I don't go by in real life. That used to be a common thing among people my age when back in the days when the internet was new and we were actually smart enough to hide our identity.
We need to bring back stranger danger as a thing.
And we gotta stop letting these, because for one thing, like I said, another issue is I'm not saying this is the main reason the platforms are doing this, but the platforms are doing this also as one of the reasons is because, as I said before, people are sue happy. Lawyers have destroyed the world. Lawyers have made it so companies have to sometimes take these drastic steps. Does that justify it? No. But it's because people are so quick to be like, hey, you did something that my child saw, and instead of me taking responsibility as a parent and being like, oh, I should have shield them from seeing that, or I should have kept a better eye on them, or punish my kid because he disobeyed me. No. I'm going to sue the company or whatever. That's... Can't do anything without risk of being sued. And lawyers have instilled that into our heads because lawyers are like sharks. They'll wait until they see a potential lawsuit, and then they'll become the devil that sits on your shoulder. You should sue. It make
Why not?
huh?
Remember what? I just wanted to point something out. You know how people tend to bring back traditional marriage and traditional values?
Yes.
Have you noticed who's mostly against that? Divorce lawyers.
That is true, because if their divorce hit an all-time low, they would be out of business. They wouldn't profit. Which,
Yeah,
by
but
the
think of the
way,
lawyer.
really quick, viewers, we hit the half-hour mark, so the Discord is now open for anyone who wants to jump into the voice channel and voice their thoughts on the matter, or if they have any questions. So with that said, go ahead, Tinfoil. What were you going to say now?
Well, I just wanted to point out, as I said, we need to bring back stranger danger, and also, people forget when a company has that data, they trade it, they resell it. You asked me like just a while ago, what can we do to protect ourselves or at least mitigate the danger, right? I'm not sponsored by Huawei, and you, the listener, should do your own research, by the way. There are companies like I've heard by multiple YouTubers. Not sure how good it is. Is it valid? But you should possibly, if you want to look for it or its equivalent in other companies, delete me. Meaning, if you're pressing and agreeing with something with that data, they opt out. They contact data brokers with your data, and they just call it take it off, because that's their legal obligation. If they're asked, they take away your data so it doesn't circulate. And that's about limiting your digital footprint. I'm pretty sure there's much more you do. So I'm guessing
I think it's
probably
impossible to
don't.
actually delete your domain because it seems
No,
like
but you can limit what's outgoing on a constant basis. Also, I would encourage you people, your viewers, to not click read to all those cookies without reading, or at least decline every now and then, and maybe, or just the essentials when visiting a web page. Just a thought. Because cookies are like registers of which site you visited at what hour, or like a timestamp with some data attached to you, if I understand this correctly. They're basically giving, I don't know, uh, IHOP, by sending your request for a takeout, uh, a lot of your data. For example, of course, I'm not just gonna, this can be company X, if you will. Just think about what you're leaving behind when you're making it. Read up on cookies, on consent, on datas, and just be careful. There are ways around to not send out so much data. And if a company like Discord is doing something like that, and it's something you can replace, or has an equivalent that values your privacy and doesn't want your data, I would suggest you inquire about it, and then maybe switch if it's something you can do. And to the your company of Discord, you can just tell them to kick rocks. That's about all.
Problem
No,
is we don't have a lot of time. Because supposed to say
true. There are other methods, but I will not mention them here since I still have to research them. But as for you, dear viewer and listener, hopefully, well, if we have a month or so, or less than a month, well, time to get cracking then now, isn't it?
but the now you brought up, and I, out of respect, and I keep, you brought up
Yes.
that you said you belong for FICO debt, and they're okay with it. They're okay with this. They explained to you they have no.
Yes.
That
Because
was
it's inevitable and the data is out there anyway. Yeah, but it doesn't mean you can't limit how it's being used and to do what. And just because people catch you or you on the camera doesn't mean they own you, right? Of course, there's a lot of limiting factors to this. A lot of things we cannot do, but things are can we do, and we can actually show the companies we will not surrender our digital identity just because you want. And if that means we'll quit your platform, then that's it. If it's something you can do, then yes, do not let them bully you into giving you your data. You have your rights, and do not forget that your constitution of your given country protects you to a full extent. I would suggest you inquire what you can do and cannot do, and take full stock and use of that. As I said, months doesn't seem like a lot of time, but then again, you could do that in 2 to 3 days quite handily if you have time. And to all my knowledge, you have way more time than that.
You think the also like you and me, actually, you and I are close to age. So with that said, I can say as a fact, you and I grew up in a very unique time period when we were first born, and the internet may have existed maybe a little before we're born, but it was not public, or it wasn't, or it was that only very few. And for the majority of our childhood, all the way up till we were like in middle school, it was a the internet was a very rare, and then it started to become public. But even then, not everybody had it. In fact, I'll admit I was out of high had the internet. So, do you think because of that and because the young crowd are literally that they're so used to it because they've lived with it most their entire life, don't see.
Yes, but it's also a little bit deeper than that because the internet is all they know. Remember, the Z generation and everything else that happened in the pandemic, right? It's little concept proof of what happens when you let the nanny state take over. They're more stressed, they're more depressed, they're fatter, and well, they're basically their IQ scores and grades at school are much lower than the generation before that, right? And it's because we allow them to be coddled by the state, can't do anything. We're not allowed to, discipline the kid. We're not supposed to be harsher, which would be actually in the benefit of the kid long term. Uh, and take a look. People barely know how to talk to each other without a phone attached to Tinder, Grinder, whatever you want to call it. There's no dating, and even that is broken now, apparently, from what I've been told. Uh, in the current, well, like, if you're a Z, and don't take offense, but it's hard to communicate with you, and I've heard that you have problems communicating with each other without saying, I don't know, skibidi toilet or no cap. But yeah,
I do hate, and yes, stupid, stupid for me to say, and it makes me sound old, but I really hate it when the English language has really devolved, became these words that are so trendy, and then later on there were like I will when I say the words myself, I'll say it intentionally trying to sound cringe. I want people. This is how you sound when you say it too. Uh, there was actually a video I made where I actually made a girl laugh because I said something stupid. I was just like, yeah, I got like I hate it when people say stuff like that. Like, dude, just speak normal English. Don't sound cool. Really don't. And I know I'm going to bother and make people hear this, but really, it,
no offense, Kevin, but you're gifted. By that comment alone about Riz, you actually managed to induce eye rolling.
I mean, the thing is I remember back when Google was new, and when it first came out, my first thought was they couldn't have come up with a better name because Google just sounded so silly.
Bubbly.
Huh?
It sounded bubbly.
And but then I remember them not too long after that. Google had been around so long that they were actually literally turned it into a verb, the English language. They turned the word Google, so it's an actual English word. It's the English dictionary. The verb. Are you kidding me?
Well, you know what they say. It's like, pardon the language, but it's an actual term, so I feel partially excused if we have enshittification of companies and goods. Or you could also largely say we have enshittification of language.
It, but this is one of the things I actually do. One of the few things left, actually, is those dads who will literally go out of the way to talk that that'll embarrass their daughters. Like one's kept using the word no cap out in public and trying to embarrass her. It's like, oh, this is so slap. Or
Well, I've heard a story that actually a dad tried to embed himself as a skimpy picture of his dad on his daughter's Tinder profile just to
oh,
embarrass
yes,
her.
I heard about that too. Yes.
And that gentleman, if you're listening, sir, my hat's off to you.
We need more dads out there like you.
Yeah, we
Kids
need,
need.
we need
I'm sorry, continue.
yes,
Oh, go ahead,
yeah,
continue.
but we need more trolling parents.
The fact of the matter is, kids, I don't get it. They think they're so cool when they do it, then they cringe when their parents do it. It's like it's just so stupid when you guys do it. Well, guess what? I hate to be the bearer of bad news to you children, but if it's dumb and cringy when your parents do it, it's just as dumb and cringy. So let that be an eye open.
Yeah, but you know what it also means, Stanton? We were also guilty of this ourselves.
I need a moment to think back. Oh, what did I? What language I tried?
Probably something about being legit.
I don't know. I guess I just don't see a point in trying to readjust my bit and either like me or you don't. Don't. That's how I
Just
talk
subscribe.
now. This is how I really talk. This is me. This is my normal.
Yeah, it was kind of hard to picture that looking at your avatar.
Get a good look. Me in all my glory. Actually,
Yeah, because that they'll be looking more of a morning glory if that drops over.
anyways, but the internet is not internet that exists today is not the internet. I will admit
Mhm.
when I was young, and the transition had already started by the time I had gained online games were not common yet, but they started to come out, starting with World of War. Got into it. So I got chat room past high school. I thought it was I thought it was amazing. I was so easily amused. I thought that was just the neatest thing. Then I was at places, got into the then after that I kind of fell out of it because dedicated her. But then I got her and that's when our first Requiem. That was our very first.
Remind me to actually write that name down because I never heard about it though.
Well, like I said, it's a ghost. The thing is back then we did make friends. We joined a guild. We went and started gaming with them and actually chatting with them almost on a daily basis. One thing we never did though, we never revealed our, or did they weren't interested in knowing. were there when they needed to talk. We were there when they needed the game. But we kept our real lives separate from the gaming world. And I know people are going to look at this and be like, well, Statton, you're failing at that now because you're bringing in your real life beliefs into the game now. Well, that's only partially true. I'm doing that for the sake of the... But it's not like I'm going to go around acting this way, talking this way, talking about serious subjects during the times when I'm actually... By the way, according to the sound bar, not very...
Yes. Well, I suppose that's only on your end. I can hear you just fine.
Awesome. Well, we're at the last 9 minutes, so I will use this to make some last minute announcements and some advertisement. Don't forget to check out my Discord server called Statton's Mansion. I leave a link to it in the description of all my lives and all my videos, and I leave a link to my Venmo and Cash App and PayPal account. Donations are not required, but they are appreciated, and they make it so I can speak as openly as I please here on this platform. And just as a reminder to all of you, I'm now on Rumble. Yes, I will keep posting on YouTube. Until YouTube gets rid of me, I'll keep posting on there. But I think this will be my secondary account, while my primary account, Rumble from. So please show me some love on Rumble. Watch my videos on Rumble. Follow me on Rumble. Don't have an account on it? Make an account. Then follow me. Do it. Tinfoil gets it. Anyways,
Hey, don't bring me into it.
huh?
Don't bring me into it. Have to get clobbered.
Anyways, also, oh, yes, one more thing. Get ready for next Wednesday. It's either next Wednesday or the Wednesday after. Either way, keep an eye on it because the next Heart to Heart podcast will be regarding AI. And we're going to have a special guest on who definitely wants to be a part of it. And her name is Cherry B. She, too, has a TikTok account, Twitch account, and 2 YouTube channels. Her one channel is where she edits her long gameplays down, where you can get the short and straight to the point version. But she has a secondary YouTube channel where she posts the unedited version. So check her out. I'll leave a link in the description of the live stream later on. She wants to be on to talk with the subject. Tinfoil, I don't know if you'll want to be around for that subject or not, but you'll be invited too if you wish.
Sure.
And with that said, I hope you all enjoyed this stream today. Feel free to send me requests on subjects you want me to cover over podcast-wise, and I'll be more than happy to do so. My name is Statton. Like, share, subscribe. You all have yourselves a wonderful day, and remember, you are not alone. This is the Heart to Heart with Statton podcast.